everybody and welcome back. The engine is now on what was the bike lift stand. I'm going to use this as a workbench because I can easily get around all sides of it. I'm going to start by taking off the heads, taking off the fuel pump, taking off that side engine cover, and then work on the underneath, undoing the bolts to separate the case. So what I'll do, I'll put you onto time lapse, give a bit of commentary as I go, and stop for any other interesting bits. I'd already loosened the bolts on the head and the bolts everywhere on the engine while it was still in the frame, just to make working on the bench that little bit easier. So pistons are out, as you could see. Gudgeon pins are a little bit reluctant. So this is the side that went. Got a bit of sideways movement. Doesn't feel like there's any up and down. Let's have a comparison with the other side. Same sideways. They feel the same. They feel the same. I don't know, what do I do? Everybody in the comments has said you've got to strip it down to at least clean the bearings out. Am I drinking straw and Hoover? Well, I haven't seen any reactions to that yet. I've not posted that video. I've got to crack on, haven't I? Yeah, I've got to crack on. I've got to crack on. Looking very clean and tidy in there. I'll just take a couple of photographs just to remind myself of how it all goes back together. I have got the proper clutch tool. I've just been consulting the good book, and verily, once the outer cover is removed, thou shalt take off the clutch by releasing these springs here. Then, once the clutch plates are removed, put into gear, lock the gearbox and remove the nut which lies beneath. Okay, let's crack on. Clutch basket is out. I didn't have to lock the gearbox. I just used a power tool there to get it off. Next, I think, is I need to take this and this off because they straddle the brake in the crank. And what I'm trying to do is not take everything off, right? Really keep it to an absolute minimum because I am petrified of getting this wrong. So the 3 screws there, they straddle the join, so I've obviously got to take that off. To take that off, I've got to take that off and that off. So I've got to get this off, so I'll use the same power tool to get that off. But that's the idea. Minimum disruption to what lies beneath. let's carry on. Just cutting from the time lapse for a second. Situation is that I've got the nuts off the bottom of the engine and I'm undoing the bolts on the top, so I'm hoping to split the crank. One slight problem is the end of the crankshaft here. I've not been able to get that nut off. I tried with my electric impact driver, it just hasn't got the balls to do it. I tried with a manual impact driver, the one you've seen me using before, but I'm very reluctant to pound on the end of the crankshaft with a big hammer to undo that nut. So I'm going to try and, the plan at the moment is to try and split the crank and leave that in place. If it comes out, I can't see why it wouldn't. Maybe the engineering shop have got some equipment a bit more robust than me to get that off. Okay, sorry folks, but it's back to time lapse. That came apart much easier than I anticipated. Really pleased. So, just pulling up the stool. Let's have a little look at what we've got in here then. There's a little bit of metal there. That's past this ring. And in here, yeah, it's definitely something in there. That side is fine. I mean, there's just, well, yeah, I mean, there is, isn't there? It's just a little bit of powdered aluminium in there. So yeah, I mean, it had to come apart, didn't it? It had to come apart. You guys are absolutely spot on. So the engine is in half now. That's the top half. Doesn't seem to be anything untoward there that I can see. And obviously the bottom half. I'm not sure what this mark is here. So this is the one that blew. Maybe there's some movement in there. It's very hard to tell. And then the crankshaft itself. Like I said, I couldn't get this off. Spin the bearings. Is that it? Listen. Again, there's similar movement on all of them. So I think the thing is now that we're going to have to get this whole thing rebuilt. I've managed to get some pistons from Wimoto in France. The rest of the parts, the bearings and so on, I'm going to have to get from Yambits in the UK. Yambits are usually very good. They don't charge VAT on export, and the couriers that they use, I think DPD in the past, have only charged the correct amount of VAT and a very reasonable admin charge for that. So I have no problems with using them. My biggest concern is how much time it's going to take the engineering shops to get this work done. We've got to get it booked in, they've got to get it scheduled in, and we are rapidly approaching Christmas, so I'm not sure that I'm going to get everything back before Christmas. It's probably going to be into the new year. So I want to thank you all for your comments, some really fantastic advice and some really good support there. I really appreciate it, because sometimes doing this, it makes you feel a little bit on your own. Thank you for all the likes. Thank you for all the new subscriptions. We're over 300. And I will see you in the next one.